Hi everyone, today we're going to cover a couple things about the workflow for the feedback on peer evaluation. You can find these slides at the below address if you'd like to take a look at them online. They'll be updated in the note that you see on the Piazza post very shortly. So just to recap, first congratulations on completing milestone-free peer evaluation-free by the 28th of July, which was this past Monday evening around the time for Hari Raya. We had milestone-free due, which means that you had to prepare your README, your video, as well as your log for the final evaluation by your peers. As per the usual practice, after this milestone is due, you have roughly a week until the 4th of August, which is next Monday, to turn in the peer evaluation form that we had described to you earlier for evaluation number 3. I think a couple of groups have already started. Thank you for doing so. But all of you should have them in by the 4th of August midnight. That means 11:59 on August 4th. That means Monday night. Within the span of 2 days, what will happen is your advisors will take the private notes that you've issued, which are these peer evaluations, and they're going to consolidate all of this on-time feedback, as you can see here. Okay, and what they're going to do is take this and, just like as you saw previously, publish it as a follow-up to your README posts and evaluations, so that others can see, that you can see what other peers have thought about your project. Now, when you're doing peer evaluation free, make sure you go back and check the actual peer evaluation groups that have been described, because there have been a number of teams that have dropped since evaluation free has started because they have difficulties handling the amount of load along with other activities like freshman orientation week, etc. So make sure you consult your advisor or check the forum to make sure you're evaluating the right peers, and send your peer evaluations as private notes to your advisor. So after the 6th of August, normally we would be finished at this point when we do an evaluation, but because this time is the last evaluation, we have something special that we need to do, and that is to handle the evaluation of all of the peer feedback that you have received over the last 3 milestones, inclusive of the ones that your peers just did for you due on August 4th. Now you're going to need to evaluate your peers, but also your advisor's feedback, because you're privy to which feedback came from your advisor and which one were from the teams. But the teams ones, of course, were anonymized. And just a note for you, these are going to be due exactly a week later. So 13th of August is when you'll need to submit those evaluations either to me for your advisor's feedback, or for your peer teams that will be sent to your advisor for their collation. And a reminder that in week 2 of SEM 1, August 22nd, Friday, from 6 to 9 p.m. we're going to have Splashdown. This is our poster session in SR1, and there'll be more details and possibly a video about that later on. So when you do the evaluation of peer feedback, I'll show you this right now actually. So there is this post here. This is post 1273. So you can type 1273 over here in the search box, 1273, and you'll come to this particular note. What you're going to do is the same thing that you do for your peer evaluations, which is copy this form and send it to your advisor, section 1, and then the other sections you'll send in different ways. Okay, so there's 3 parts of this form. 2 are due to the students, and 1 is going to be for the advisors to do. Okay, so basically what we want you to do is look over the feedback that your peers have provided you over the last 3 evaluations and decide whether you think they've done a good job of helping you evaluate what are the strengths and weaknesses of your project. So What scores you give your peer teams will help them achieve or not achieve certain levels of achievement. Okay, so for example, easy or beginners, you need to score an average of at least satisfactory, 2 out of 4 stars on this particular milestone as given by your peers. That means your peers have to think that the evaluation that you provided is at least satisfactory on their projects. For Project Gemini and Apollo, it's a little higher. So Project Gemini, you must do it slightly better than satisfactory. And for Apollo 11, you must at least do good. Okay? So we understand that sometimes peers may not evaluate appropriately or give feedback a little haphazardly. So even though we're going to use these as a guideline, in other words, you need to score an average of at least 3 stars out of 4 for all feedback given by other teams. We reserve the right to amend these criteria as we see fit. So you'll have to provide the same type of feedback to your advisor, and you don't send that to your advisor. You evaluate your advisor and you send that to me. Okay, so you write a Piazza private note, you send it to me, and then I'll take note of that. I'll collate roughly the 100 posts that you guys make and tell the advisors how they've been doing. Now, as I said, both sections 1 and 2 of this report, section 1 is again evaluating your peers. Section 2 is going to evaluate your advisor, are due by August 13th. Okay. Now your advisors also have a part of this form to fill out. We've put it here just so that you can see what it's like. They're going to consolidate all of the section 1s and create a average score for you, which would be this type of average score up here. Score an average of at least X stars out of 4 on feedback given. And they're going to send this back to you either in email or as a private note to you. Okay? So how does these forms look? Section 1, you just, as very simple, you need to fill in the name of the group that evaluated your project, which evaluations they did for you. In cases where teams switch peer evaluations, they may not have evaluated all 3 milestones for you. And then you just have to fill out one of these criteria, 1 out of 4 stars, 2 out of 4. This is the minimum requirements. 3 out of 4, pretty okay. 4 out of 4, really good. And 5 out of 4, excellent. Okay, that's all you do. So it's a very simple form. It's just scale 1 to 5. You have to fill out maybe a couple sentences to say why you think that of them. And then that's it for the first peer team. And you do have to do this for all the peer teams that evaluated you. There might be more than 3 peer teams because, again, some teams had their peers switched over time. So I've provided 6 forms here. This evaluation of your advisor's feedback is done exactly the same way. All right, we're using the same scale as in used by your peer teams. Hopefully your advisors gave you fairly detailed feedback. So we hope that they're going to get a better score than just 1 or 2 stars, okay? But of course, this is for you to decide. So you need to fill in the name of your advisor, and again, the rating that you are giving for your advisor, 1 through 5, and some justification, okay? Later, after you've sent this in on August 13th or before then, the advisors will have a week to provide this average score peer feedback back to you. Okay, it shouldn't take a week. It should only take a couple days. But besides that, they should send it back to you. Okay. They also have to weight their own evaluation of how well you've done in peer feedback. So they're going to evaluate your peer feedback and then average it in with peers from the orbital cohort. Okay, and all they have to do is fill out this field here, the weighted average score per feedback, and then any notable comments that they think are important to relay to you again. Okay, if you want the HTML form that's here, that's no problem. So a reminder of how our system works. You have 3 levels of achievement in Orbital. The Vostok level of achievement is just for very simple requirements is to learn about web stack programming, complete a Python GAE application. And as you can see here, it has this part which says score an average of at least 2 stars on feedback given to other teams. Okay. When you go down to Project Gemini, you have a score at least 2.5 score. And when you go to Apollo 11, you must score an average of 3 scores. So the peer evaluation process, which we are talking about now, is doing exactly that. This is what we are trying to do, finish off. Okay, so please go ahead and get started on your feedback on peer evaluation, and we hope to see your evaluations by August 4th. Sorry, August 13th.